So grateful.
I would like to make one safety announcement, please. In order to get the PA system back, I needed to run an extension cable to a hot outlet. We have we have an entire leg coming in the building as far as electrical is concerned that is down, so I had to do it that way. There's an extension cord running across right over here. I would like to ask you all, please be mindful of that. Please don't trip over it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for coming in to support. I'll start with quick introductions. My name is Kimberly Neal Branham, and I am the founder and executive director of Believe Schools. And I'm excited to present to you guys Believe St. Louis Academy and some of the great work that we founded in Indianapolis and some of the great work that we hope we'll have the opportunity to bring home to St. Louis. With me, you have John Manning, who is our founding principal resident. I'll let her do a quick introduction. We hope to be able to share slides with you, and I actually may like walk around with the computer just so you can see that they're pretty slides and freestyle it, but we're gonna go ahead and get started just for time.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Manning. As Kim said, I will be the principal resident here at Believe St. Louis Academy. I was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, and attended Residing Kane Academy. And I am extremely excited to be here with you all to do the work here in our community and for our students.
One of the things that's really important that most of you are probably wondering is why St. Louis. I hope you guys heard briefly that we are both St. Louis residents, natives, home. We have family here, we have friends here, we have ties to the community here, we were educated here. And we've been across the country doing work in other cities. And one of the things that we think is really important is to be able to bring some of the expertise that we've developed over the years and some of the knowledge of good instructional practices over the years home to the city that develops us. So we are really grateful and excited about that. The other piece of why it's so important to us to come home is that we've been watching what's been happening in our educational ecosystem from a distance. Not only the crime rate, when we started doing our research and we found out St. Louis is among the top 10 cities, and the majority of the other cities are in Mexico, of the most dangerous cities in the world, that was scary to read about. And to be able to read about it living in other cities that didn't fall into that category was heart-wrenching for me. And knowing that I was doing really good work academically and socially in the communities that I was living in was also hard for me to bear. So at this point in time, we think it's time to come home. We've waited and waited and waited and done the work, founded our first school in Indianapolis, but we think it's time to come home. The other thing that's really heavy on my heart is the disparities in our healthcare here in Missouri. As you guys may know, when you walk into the hospitals here, the highest paid people in the hospitals don't necessarily look like the patients that we serve. And we want to equal the playing field and make sure that there's equal access for all people in those careers. And right now, we know that we've got to start there with some of our schools in St. Louis Public, but with them being selected, we're not able to completely close that gap, and we want to work to completely close that gap. The biggest thing that we think we're going to bring home is academic achievement. I was able to close the achievement gap in Chicago with the first high school that I founded in Mission College Prep. We are close to closing the achievement gap at our second school in Indianapolis. We believe we'll close it next year, and we highly anticipate that we will absolutely be able to close the achievement gap here in St. Louis for Black and brown students in the city.
So we opened our first campus in downtown Indianapolis, Believe Circle City High School. We opened in fall 2020 in the midst of the pandemic, but we're still able to gain amazing results for our students, which we'll touch on a little bit later. Our model is built around three things for our students: agency, acceleration, and autonomy. And we feel like these three key things will go into making Believe graduates independent, engaged, and influential citizens in their local community, but in the global community as well. When we talk about autonomy, our students need to be able to govern themselves, to know how to interact in a world where someone's not looking over your shoulder, telling you what to do and when to do it at any given time. We do that through our culture system, which allows students to take ownership of the privileges and access that they have in school, and also through our flexible scheduling that allows our students to be responsible for their time and how they use it. Agency. We want our students to be the captain of their own ships. They are not helpless. The ability to make their own free choices in their best interests, developed through our life coaching and purpose pathway, where village leaders, parents, and the students sit down at the table and talk about the students as an individual and what they need in order to go forward in the future. And our acceleration piece. So across the nation, around 47% of Black students graduate from college within 6 years. That's compared to 78% of their white peers who finish within 6 years. And we believe that early college and early career access is a game changer in leveling that playing field. So our students are able to earn dual enrollment credits or industry-based certification free of cost to their families while enrolled at Believe School. We put all of these things together, and our model in action puts a lot of different things together. But first and foremost, we're a community-based school. The work that we do at Believe cannot be done within the locus of just our controls. So we lean on our community partners, such as higher education partners, employer partners, nonprofits, to really drive the work for our students. And we'll get into some of those partnerships that we've already established in just a little bit. We also have our village model that I touched on. Each student, the first day of Believe, is assigned a group of 15 students and a responsible adult teacher who's with them all 4 years of high school. They sit down, they become that parent at school. For parents who might not have the capacity to sit down and check homework every night for their 15-year-old, the village leader has time. They're really that source of accountability, that source of tracking, that source of keeping a student on that purpose pathway that's been crafted in conjunction with the family. Talking about why Believe Academy, our partnerships really shine. This summer we did a pilot program where I was able to spend time with St. Louis area middle schoolers and really get them engaged in the local community. We were able to visit Barnes Jewish Christian Hospital, where they were able to explore and visit their career resource trailer to talk about careers in health and health sciences and even more. We also partner with NextPrep for a 9 through 12 continuum of post-secondary readiness, where students do deep self-discovery work, partnered with work-based learning and dual credit opportunities. We also are in the lovely Harrison building from St. Louis Community College, who will be our primary dual credit partner. So our students are able to earn college credits while they're still enrolled in high school. Lastly, our Goldfarb School of Nursing partnership, where our students will able to gain mentorship from current nursing students as they track their own path towards the health sciences.
As you guys will hear tonight, you'll hear some public comment. What the naysayers often say about charter school is funding. One of the things that we're really excited about our model is that because we've had such strong results over the years, funding is not something that we're overly concerned about. We've been able to raise almost $1 million pre-launch to make sure that our school and our students have all of the resources that they need in order to be successful. We're grateful for our national and local funders and partners in an effort to make that happen. And we're actually on a campaign now to do even more to make sure that we are broadening that. I'm hoping I'm headed to Atlanta tomorrow to the Unite with UNCF and XQ schools to talk about our Believe model. And we're hoping to come back with a potential partnership with them as well. We are so grateful for all of the work that we've done thus far and all the partners, and we also believe that we have so far to go. The other thing that I think is going to be key to why Believe Academy St. Louis is our founding team. I've got a strong track record of academic success, not only at my founding high school in Chicago, but also when I did work in Washington, D.C., and the work we've done in Indianapolis. But we're also bringing in some of our founding members from our flagship school in Indianapolis to maintain continuity for what we've already built. We even have some of our scholars here from Believe Indianapolis, Circle City. Our gentleman up here that's absolutely uncomfortable having finish high school in 2 years and finish his associate's degree at the end of the summer. So we are so excited, and you guys hopefully will hear from him later. And we have a few of our other founders here as well. Some of them greeted you at the door. We also have one of our founding teachers in the back who has been with us since 2020. One of the people asked earlier, what makes you guys different? We love our team and we've retained our staff. And one of the things that we think is important is that we hire strong people and we develop them and we pour into them, and we make sure that they continue to pour into our students as well. The last thing is facility. I'm not going to talk too long about facility, considering I'm sweating. You all are probably too. But the building that we're in right now is beautiful, and we hope to partner with St. Louis Community College and be in a beautiful building as beautiful as this for actually existing.
So we mentioned data just a little bit and talking about some of the key data points in our model. Currently, 25% of ninth graders at the Believe Indianapolis campus, Believe Indianapolis campus are a part of the gifted and talented cohort, where they are able to earn dual enrollment credits as early as the second semester of their freshman year. Sticking with that path, they're able to earn an associate's degree by their junior year. But we don't limit access only to gifted and talented students. Currently, 85% of our 11th and 12th graders participate in dual enrollment, meaning regardless of English language learner status, special education status, or any other disabilities, we create the circumstances and environment for all students to thrive and have access to early college and early career programming.
One of the things that I'll leave you with as we're winding down time, the majority of the scholars that we believe will serve here are Black. In Indianapolis, Believe Circle City High School is the second highest performing school in the city, including township schools, traditional public schools, and charter schools for Black students. Our proficiency rate on ELA was 48%. Every district high school in Indianapolis was single digit last year on the SAT, and our Black students are at 48%. For math, we're at 16%. We have a long way to go. It's embarrassing to say out loud, but we're still fourth in the region at 16%. The last data point that I'm going to leave you with is overall proficiency on the SAT, which is a nationally normed test, not locally curated. Our students are third in the city. Our Black students are Black students. The ones like the ones we'll serve here are third in the city at overall proficiency, 16%, single digit across the board. And some of our larger charter schools in the city who have been doing this for way longer than us are around 0%. So I just want to be really clear that we have the data in front of you. If you can see it, we wish it was on the screen, so I have to say it out loud. But some of our larger charter networks, some of our larger schools that have been doing this for a long time are not realizing the dream for our kids. And that's the gap we want to close on the academic side. And holistically, we want that to lead into closing the income gap for our students here in the city. Thank you for your time, and we're excited to answer any questions that you all have. And we're excited to have our board talk to you more about our model and why we believe St. Louis. Thank you.
I'm Peggy Taylor, I'm Commission Chair, and tonight we have Susan Cole with us, Kathy Gerald Lloyd, and we have two commissioners that I believe that are online, Delbert Scott and Mary Jane Alados. I am so excited to see this many people here tonight. This is your opportunity to speak to us as a commission as to why you feel Believe needs to be established here in St. Louis. So whoever wants to go first, we'd like to hear public comments, please. John?
I just wanted to stand up and say that this camera, like, you don't have to leave your seat, you can stand up, it picks up everything, so side conversations, if you don't want to record it, please don't say it.
Okay. Somebody has to go first. Yes, please. If you would, you could.
Well, I think I can see you hear me.
Okay.
My name is Maxine Hall, and I'm an entrepreneur here in St. Louis, and I'm also on the board of Barnes Jewish Hospital and the board chair of Goldfarb School of Nursing. And I can tell you that there is a tremendous demand for children to aspire to these healthcare careers, and there's a lot of opportunity at Barnes Jewish Hospital and Goldfarb School of Nursing. There's endless opportunities for our young people to succeed. And I'm not sure what the challenge is, why more people aren't going into healthcare, especially in a city like St. Louis, where we have so many incredible hospitals and systems that support healthcare. But I do know that we are ready and willing and waiting for students that are prepared to go into these professions, not just as a nurse and not just a doc. I don't want to say just as a nurse, because nurses are really incredible and doctors are really incredible, but there are many, many other positions that are in the healthcare system. And if you understand healthcare, you can even be more successful, whether it's marketing, accounting, finance, any of the sciences, the culinary arts, all of those things that go on. A hospital is like a city. And Barnes Jewish Hospital in particular is the largest employer next to the state of Missouri in the state of Missouri. So it's so many opportunities and almost immediate. I mean, other people can talk to this more authoritatively than I can, but when you get a job at the hospital, you automatically qualify for college, for forward education, healthcare benefits, really good pay, vacation time, all kinds of things are possible there that would be don't think it's only for people who get a medical degree, or people that have a nurse anesthetist or advanced practice nurse. Although those are, I'm encouraging that, but that takes even more education. Just to come in and then say they would help you with that advanced education is really an incredible opportunity. So the jobs are here, the pay is good, the systems are great, and we need more qualified students who are really prepared and ready when they get out of high school, actually, to enter into those jobs. In fact, I believe this is true, but I can't verify, maybe Jennifer, you can, that when you would finish with a degree, a 2-year degree from this high school in St. Louis, you would then qualify for the advanced degree to come into the nursing school and ready for the accelerated program.
That's the plan.
And so that gets you on your way to an incredible nursing career, whether it's a bedside nurse, a nurse anesthetist, a nurse practitioner, all kinds of incredible opportunities that are high-paying jobs, but it's a job that really makes a difference, not just at the pay level. I'm not just talking about pay, I'm talking about heart, where you can really do something that makes a difference for your community and the people that are in it. And St. Louis has so much opportunity if we can make sure that people are on a much better pathway to healthcare success. And looking around this room, I can see that that could make a huge difference in our St. Louis community. That's my 2 cents. Or 3 cents, maybe it was.
Next. Please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Say that again.
Good evening.
Oh, all right, I like it. I'll try it again. Good evening. Thank you. My name is Michelle Moore, and I serve as the campus vice president for St. Louis Community College. I also serve as the lead for the Harrison Education Center. On behalf of our chancellor, Jeff Pittman, Dr. Jeff Pittman, I give his greetings and also apologize that it is warm in the room and we are lacking some electricity in the room. That's what I get for going on vacation. I'm actually on vacation right now. But I thought that it was important to come down and provide support for Believe STL Academy on behalf of St. Louis Community College, right? And so I would like to, of course, thank our partners in the room, the commission, of course, and our other partners, BJC, other partners in the room, because, you know, when we talk about changing the trajectory of a child's life in K through 12, right, and taking them from where they are to where they need to be, St. Louis Community College sees ourselves at the forefront of that, right? And so the reason why this building is in this community is because this community serves underserved students, right? So we are in the early stages of conversation with Believe STL Academy to utilize this space, and we're certainly excited about the opportunity, excited about the fact that we have dual enrollment and early college partnerships with other districts in St. Louis and St. Louis County, and we're certainly looking to partner with Believe STL Academy in doing so, because we not only want these students to persist, matriculate, and complete high school, but we'd like to see them as students of STLCC to receive their associate degree and certificate if they so choose to do so. We also want to provide them the opportunity to engage in all the opportunities that we have at STLCC, from our Black Male Initiative or Black Male Academy, to our Sisters in Tech, to our Tech Academy, to our PepsiCo Uplift Scholarship. We have an array of programs and opportunities, wraparound services, and that we're eager in terms of a partnership to move forward with the Believe STL Academy. So again, on behalf of our chancellor, Dr. Jeff Pittman, who unfortunately could not be here on tonight, I just wanted to provide our support and let you know that we are championing this effort as well.
How y'all doing today? Good, that's good. So, I need to get my credentials like everybody else. Name's Kenneth Fizet, first of all. And I graduated from CBC, went on here and graduated from Harris Stone, and then got my MBA from Western University. On top of that, I worked for Edward Jones for 20 years. For 15 of those years, I was an IT manager. So I just got a easy background on my history. I have 5 children right now. I have my first one at 15. So everything I accomplished, you had to have a support system behind it. You had to believe, they had to believe in you at the same time. to accomplish everything I did. Well, also during that time, I've been giving back to the community. I've been giving back to the youth at Walls Community Center on Martin Luther King Highway for the last 20 years, ever since I've been in college. I've been doing Kim ever since, I can't even believe, but we're not gonna speak on age. We're not gonna speak on age, but one thing I'm gonna say is, I seen her from afar, build up other schools. She talked about Chicago, she talked about Indianapolis. And one thing I saw was, those kids were the same kids here in St. Louis. I said when she started off, she might not remember at the time. And I'm going to say that she didn't run to the county where everything could be a little easier. And the reason I'm saying that, also substitute, while I was doing IT for over 15 years at St. Louis Public Schools, I also did Redmond and also Hazelwood, so I understand the school system from a different point of view. When I tried to be a principal, but I realized IT was more money for me, so I had to quit. But that was just me. And going back to what I'm saying on the league, when you see a great leader and a winner, talking from a coach aspect, I coached in high school, little league, and also did 2 years in college, played college ball. But when you find a winner, winners are hard to come by. You got to follow a winner. You go with a winner. It's just like anything else. It's not just sports, it's in life too. Kim was a person that, if she told me to jump in that river right now and said, you're gonna get wet, I'm gonna believe it. But if she told me I'm not gonna get wet, I'm gonna believe it too. Because one thing, I believe that girl, I believe that lady, because she's proved time and time again against all odds on what she can do and how she can change the community. And I'm not talking to one that has already money behind them and people backing them with a strong education that already supports them, kids like that. I'm talking about the kids that don't have that she put that fire in them and let them believe that they got anything they want in this world. You know, like when the 08 happened, when Obama won the election, that's the same thing I feel like her. When you put a belief with that lady, with that leadership, with her staff, with all of these people behind it, it can help change this city. And you know what? It's time for this city to change. We changing in the right area, but I'm also saying we changing in the wrong area. And the areas that you want to change are the ones that need it the most. And please, if you can't give it the opportunity and that staff and all these people, the great opportunity to bring this school here. They already proved they can do it in person. I know we talk about St. Louis, but they did it in Chicago. You know, many people got shot. Man, I'm just saying, she did it there. And this thing ended up when she found that water and build up a great state and bring them to the same food. So please, if you see it in your heart, please bring the lead to the same. That's all.
So good evening, everyone. Terry Morris, Dr. Terry Morris from Gold Park School Nursing.
Jennifer Berger from BJC Healthcare.
So I'm gonna go first. So I've been, I am an assistant professor at Gold Park School of Nursing. I've been a nurse for actually over 4 decades. Born and raised here in St. Louis, did my training actually here in St. Louis. And just let me share that when I graduated from nursing school, actually graduated from high school, I went directly into a nursing school program. It was a diploma nursing school here in St. Louis. I was able to do my training and able to actually get some credit hours as I was going. But we fast forward to today, the BSN baccalaureate nursing program is just a little bit different, meaning that you do have to have some college credits in order to gain entry right from high school, or a community college into the nursing program. And I believe that this model is going to go back to the way I actually got my nursing training, which I can get that directly from high school. And I just want to say a couple of things about believing on having the students come. You know, I actually was exposed to nursing things from my mom, through doing candy striping, doing things that, you know, really made me believe that I can be a nurse someday. And I think that this model, again, starting with 7th and 8th graders who came to our school,
just, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. You know, they were able to see things, see the really to date, nursing, curriculum that we have. There's mannequins that they were able to see and understand that they could practice on. So the model, again, is really suited for nursing. I say one last thing, I'm gonna turn it over to my partner Jennifer, is that, the American Academy of College Nursing, the ACN, recently put out some data that this is the first year that nursing programs across the nation has, the enrollment has been declined. And for the last 20 years, prior to this year, we have always had an increase in nursing enrollment and nursing programs. And this is going to continue. We know there's all kinds of reasons why. COVID, you can name it. You know, people are thinking, do I really want to be in healthcare? And I do believe that this program will enhance those that are interested in healthcare to truly be able to get into the nursing program, particularly a BSN program like Grove Park School of Nursing, so they can continue their nursing career. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Again, my name is Jennifer Urban. I'm with BJC Healthcare, and I represent the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I've been with BJC for quite a number of years, 28 years. That's a long time to be one place. But I'm still at that place because when I started at BJC, I started at the College of Nursing and Allied Health. That's now grown, is now known as Goldfarb. And when I started, my role was to work with students and counselors and have students to come to our college and hopefully get admitted. I was really disenchanted within 2 years of doing that job, but we had these bright minds coming to us, but we had to reject them because they were missing. You might have missed math, you might have missed chemistry, so you can't get into our program. So I wanted to find a way to give students exposure, to give them a level playing field, because a lot of those students that I was having to reject, quite frankly, look like me. And I looked at our clinic and I didn't see a lot of people looking like me, like, this is a good opportunity. So created a program that has really blossomed. When we started out, we started small, where students were able to come and job shadow, and a few were coming in. Fast forward today, every year, we have the opportunity to offer over 5,000 students career exploration opportunities within BJC Healthcare. So I'm very proud of that work. And I love it when I'm able to connect with a school that is willing to take risks in their students, that's willing to give those students the opportunity. And when I met the team from Believe, and I was like, it took me way back. So when I started in my office, and all those thoughts were running through my head, the what ifs, the what ifs, the what ifs. And the more I read the literature and talked to the folks from Opportunity Trust, talked to the folks from Believe, I said, oh, we're onto something here. So I really began to write out a script. Okay, this is how we're going to partner with Believe. So yes, we have a plan in place to continue to grow our partnership. We've already hosted the students on our campus one time, because we had they went over to Goldfarb, then they came over to the hospital, and those students, to see the excitement in their eyes, to see that they have the opportunity to be a part of something big, to see that they have a path for their dreams to become a reality, it's really heartwarming. And I'm not going to say I believe, I'm going to say I know, because I've been at this work for quite a while. I know Believe, St. Louis is ready for Believe, and Believe is ready for St. Louis. So, decision makers, in terms of what Believe Academy can do for St. Louis, take it from a person that's been at this work for a long time. It's long overdue. It is long overdue. Reaching well, I mean, we reach a number of students, but anytime there's 1 or 2 students that can't be reached because they don't have the opportunity, because they're not exposed, because they're not getting educated on a level playing field, we're not on time. We need to step up the pace and do whatever we can do to reach every single student. Because I'll say this and I'll sit down. I get very passionate about my work and about students and their ability to achieve. Give them a level playing field. I don't care if the students in West County, South County, wherever they come from, if they get the level playing field, get exposure, start the wheels to turning, they can achieve those goals. I've had the opportunity to work with a student, and I'll leave you with this, I promise. One student, and he is a student I call him all the time. I remember he came to our BJC school outreach, and his counselor, oh, Miss Irvin, you don't want to work with him because he, she had her reasons why. And after I told her some really nice words, I encouraged that student to come. Today, that student is a professor at Washington University. And whenever I hear a student say, I want to teach, I want to do this, I connect them to him. And so not only are we here for Believe, we are here for all students. But I know within my heart of hearts that Believe, the time is right for Believe, and please take into consideration that this is an opportunity for us to change the trajectory, not only in St. Louis, but in the entire state of Missouri. Thank you.
Evening, my name is Ian Buchanan, a longtime educator in St. Louis, and I am excited to welcome Believe. And so just really a couple of points that I want to make. First and foremost, our kids deserve it. And that's first and foremost. Our kids deserve an opportunity to reach their full potential and be the best they possibly can. And so they deserve all of the opportunities that they can. And so just really 3 quick points. The first is, in terms of why I'm an advocate for this school, is because you ever heard of the term, people come from good stock? Kim comes from good stock. Not only does she come from good stock in terms of her family background, but also in terms of her leadership stock and the work that she's done around the country, in Indy, in Chicago, and in DC. And so that's really one point that I want to make, is that Kimberly comes from good stock, leadership, and in terms of family. But the second piece is I have a very unique vantage point and perspective around Believe for 2 reasons. My organization is called the Education Group, and one of the things that we do is we work with the Missouri Charter Public School Commission to assess and evaluate charters. And so part of my role is to read almost every charter application that comes through the state of Missouri. That is the top application I have seen since I've been reviewing these applications. So I know that this school is going to work. And so that's one reason. So I've seen it on paper, but unlike many people in this room, I've also had a chance to spend time in Believe. Myself and around 19, I guess, superintendent type from across the country got us a chance to spend time in the building in Indy. And so I am 100% confident that this is going to change the game for thousands of Black and brown students across this region, and I'm so excited to support.
Hello, everybody. I'm Shani Wilson, and I'm a finance student at Believe Circle City High School. And I just want to say that I'm grateful for this amazing opportunity I've been given. I'm a cheerleader at the school. I'm an intern. I'm actually enrolled in cosmetology to get my cosmetology license before the end of my senior year. And I'm just grateful. I'm also getting my associate's degree along with my human service certification. It's a lot. It's a lot that I talk about. I have a great connection with all my teachers, even teachers that I don't have, like, that taught me. It's a very close, tight-knit community setting, and I love my school. You don't hear that from like community students. I love school. I love going to school. I go to school every day, on time. I'm ready for the day. I love my peers also. But we're taught that, you know, like a community, it's a family. I don't go around saying, I'm not like messy or something like that. I don't know. I'm not one of those people. And many people I hang around aren't those people, aren't either. And
Why did you choose?
when the group came to me with their idea, I already had an idea of what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a veterinarian, but I also wanted to do social work. And the idea was that I would be in community college at IUSAC, and I would get my associate's degree. And it was a great opportunity, and I just took the opportunity. Because one, I'm also like one of who will be the first to graduate, graduate high school, not high school, college in my family. So it's just an amazing opportunity that I just wanted to go for it. And, well, at the time that I was given opportunity to go to Believe, I wasn't thinking about many other options in high school. And most things I heard about the high school, the my school, is just not good, not many opportunities. So that was. Hi, my name is Autumn Joshua. I'm a rising senior and a founder of Believe Circle City High School. I first want to just start talking about how, going into high school, the things that I've accomplished and I've done and I'm going to accomplish weren't even things that I fathomed possible or even thought of to do. I will be a senior, and in last May, I actually graduated with my associate's degree as a junior. In December of my senior year, I will have my certification to be a pharmacy tech. And not only am I leaving Believe with a certification and an associate's degree, but I'm also leaving Believe with options. And I think that is something so important because people that come from my community don't have so many options that Believe are giving us now. If I want to, I can leave and I can go straight into the workforce. I can go to college, less money, and Believe just really inspires you not only to just go to college debt-free, graduate college, get a job after college, or maybe if college isn't even your thing, then maybe go straight to the workforce and be able to make a livable wage straight out of coming out of high school at the age of 18. And just being in that community of this is really my family to support me even in a time where I don't think that I can do it. They push me forward to do it. They pushed me to get my associate's degree, even when I thought it was hard. In 8th grade, when I thought that I'm not trying to think about college, they told us that you have to think about your future, and that's not something that you hear so often in 8th grade, is to think about college, but they really push you to think about the things that matter and to make sure that you're on the right path to success in so many different ways.
Good evening. I had to write my notes because they said I had 1 minute to speak, so otherwise I'd be rambling. I'm Lois Conley, and I'm the founder and executive director of the Grio Museum of Black History, just a few blocks down the street this way. I've known Kim since she was born. She spent time in my home, and I've watched her grow from a baby into a full-grown, highly functioning adult. More importantly, I have marveled at the aggressive, unfaltering creativity with which she crafted and completed her stunning academic career. That's why she talks about debt-free college. I have watched her evolve into a passionate educational professional and marveled at the incredible success of educational initiatives she has implemented and led in every other community. I believe St. Louis STL Academy will enjoy the same success here in our area. We are at a time when promising educational alternatives are so vital to the future successes of our young folks. And as I think about hiring people at a museum, and am often reminded of the various deficiencies in education that they come to us with, I feel so sad to say that we still need to boost the level of education that our students are receiving. I strongly support this application and enthusiastically welcome them to the cultural and educational mosaic of our community. And I envision many collaborative opportunities with Believe. So thank you for this opportunity to support.
Hi, my name is Paige Fowler. I'll be a senior at the Life Academy, which is a great charter school here in St. Louis and Soulard. I'm here with Activate STL because when I was prompted with the question on how I feel about Believe STL coming to St. Louis, I thought it was an amazing idea because I just think about myself a few years ago, thinking about where am I gonna go to high school? And I was lucky enough to be able to find a school that personally fit me. But I do think about students now, and I don't think that they have as many options, in my opinion. And I think, Believe SEL would be a great school to have, like on the list for students, but okay, when I'm in middle school, where am I gonna go now? Listening to a lot of the leaders for Believe STL, I believe that success, is built off of opportunities and exposure. And based on what you guys are saying, those are two big keys of part of the school. And I think that it'd just be a great option to bring to St. Louis. Although I already currently go to a school, it doesn't mean I can't support, a different school. And I believe that Believe STL would be a great school.
Hello, my name is Shala Phillips Taylor. I am the owner of Purpose Driven Counseling, which is a clinical mental health private practice in the St. Louis area. I am uberly excited about Believe. Believe St. Louis Academy can do so many excellent things for our community. I was born and raised in St. Louis City. I attended school in St. Louis City. And I have been able to continue to be around students in St. Louis City and the St. Louis area. And what I have been able to identify is that the need for options for students are very important. To give you additional information about myself, I have a master's in a master's in teaching, and I have a certification in business education 9 through 12. So I did spend a few years as a high school teacher, but I then discovered that that was not my calling, that I was meant to help youth in a different way. And so I went back to school and earned my master's of counseling. I then went on to work in adolescent substance abuse for 3 years. And you have to ask yourself, why do we need adolescent substance abuse? Why do we have our teenagers and young adults with addictions, dependency on alcohol and other drugs? It's because of the trauma quite often that they experience in their homes and in their communities. So that led me to recognize that there's more. I need to go on a larger scale. So I was the program manager for 5 years of a school-based mental health program in a school district with similar demographics as St. Louis City. Matter of fact, that district has the #1 suspension rate in the state of Missouri. So I know what it takes to meet the needs of the students exactly where they are. In my private practice now, I work with children all the way from 2 years old up to our aging population. So I have clinicians there with me who can help students on all facets. So I'm excited about the opportunity to work with Believe St. Louis Academy to help design a mental health program that would specifically meet the needs of the students in this area, that can identify some of the needs that they have that may be unique. As Ms. Neil Branham mentioned earlier, St. Louis is in the top 10 crime rate, St. Louis City. So this school is needed. This school is necessary. The village component that Believe St. Louis Academy offers is going to provide a safe haven for our students here. So when they don't have the support at home, they can get the support right there at school, the place where they spend a large percentage of their time. So let's support Believe St. Louis Academy. Let's give our students what they deserve. A safe place to get educated, to have their mental health needs, in an environment that's going to support them, nurture them, and give them lots of educational opportunities. That's one of the other students that mentioned.
Okay. Okay, I have written out a speech. I wasn't for sure how long we would have, so let's get on my ideas straight. So, hello, everyone. I am Sophia McGuire, a sophomore at Cardinal Ritter Prep High School. I attended both public and charter schools, and I felt insignificant to the adults around me. No one cared or took an interest in me. But when I was at Cardinal Ritter, things completely changed. I had teachers who cared about me, looked like me, and encouraged me to do better. I went from being a B average student to an A average student in over 5 clubs and an activist in 2 different nonprofits. But all of these things wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for my environment. The issue with this is that my school is a private school. Why should our youth have to pay to get an equitable education? We all deserve the right to a place that is pushing us to learn and be the best version of ourselves, no matter where we come from. I work for a nonprofit called Activate STL. We researched St. Louis's education system this summer, and we found that students felt behind, depressed, and even scared to be at school. This is why Believe Academy is something we need in St. Louis. They have so many plans in place to help students fill gaps they receive from prior education, but also push them ahead and teach them how to express their emotions in better ways. It takes steps like these to not only improve the education in our city, but also the violence and the social emotional stability of our people. This is an investment to brighten the future of not only our city, but even our country.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mamadou, and I'm currently a rising senior at Believe Circus High School in Indianapolis. I'm gonna start with saying I've had an untraditional high school experience in the fact of the matter. I started high school 2 years ago with 0 credits. I was traveling the country. I was out of the country for religious reasons, and I came back 2 years ago with zero high school credits. I moved from New York. I came to Indy, and my uncle worked for Believe Circle City High School, and he told me to come apply there, and they'll help me get all my credits and graduate on time. So on my first day, I came to Believe Circle City High School, and basically, Ms. Manning had laid out a whole plan for me to graduate on time with all my high school credits. And on top of that, she said I could maybe get my associate's degree. Basically, my first year, actually 2020, I did my freshman year, my sophomore year, all my classes at the same time. And I finished with a 4.41 GPA. This year, my second year, I got all my junior credits, and I took most of my senior credit. I finished my associate's degree this summer. I also got my certificate in software application development, and my technical degree in software development this summer. So we're all basically, I graduated, I finished on time, and everything like nothing happened. I also want to talk about our Believe posting community. I have a post bond with all my teachers. My village leader is actually assistant right here, and I feel comfortable enough to text him at random hours of the night to any problems I have, and he will next morning when he wakes up. Comes to me and we have a conversation, and it's a very close community, and everyone. I'm not used to it. At first, I was skeptical of me because I'm not used to a small school. Because I was in New York public schools my whole life, so it was like over 1,000 kids and like 40, 30 kids in the classroom. You do whatever you want, but I came to Believe and it was strict. You gotta do your work. You gotta focus. But now that I think about it, now that I reflect on it, I'm very grateful to Believe because I didn't think I would actually finish on time. I felt behind. But Believe basically gave me the opportunity to succeed, and I didn't have the opportunity I didn't have in New York. Basically, I believe would be a great addition to the St. Louis community, And I urge you to hello? Thank you, public, as you can see, public speaking is not my forte.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kendall Neal, and I'm a rising sophomore at Tennessee State University. I am a K through 8 child development major. And I wanted to come up here and speak because was given the opportunity to be a summer intern at Believe Circle City High School for the past 2 summers. I went to Edgewood School District growing up, and then I went to private school because in St. Louis, there were no schools that were high performance for students that look like me, act like me, that dress like me. I did not see that around here, so I didn't have no choice but to go to a predominantly white school in Alton, Illinois. And that's why I'm at HBCU now. But over the 2 summers when you worked at Believe Circle City High School, I got to see the day-to-day process of the scholars coming in excited to be at school. I did not enjoy high school. I did not like going to school, but I love seeing how these scholars are excited to be here every day. They love their teachers. And some people, they rather be at school than be at home. I believe that St. Louis needs a school like Believe. I really enjoy that they have their college and career program to choose Ivy Tech and get their associate's degree in 2 years. I wish I had the opportunity. I wish I was able to attend a school like Believe Circle City High School because it would have prepared me for college. Not saying I wasn't prepared, but I could have been so much further in the game than I am now. Their current scholars some of them are ahead of me, and I have only completed 1 year of my 4 years already. So I really encourage you guys to allow Believe St. Louis Academy to be here, give students that, like me, that didn't have the opportunity to succeed, get that step ahead, and I want you guys to give them the opportunity that I didn't get. That's all.
Hey, so my name is Mr. Singh. I'm the founding teacher at Believe Circle City. For the last 3 years, I taught world history at the graduate level. I think in a country and like especially a city where like I often hear colleagues and other teachers like actively leaving the profession, and they're just like, oh, I'm done after 1 year, or I'm done after 6 months, or I'm done after 2 years. And I will see a face a lot of the people that came into the city with left after the 2-year mark and did not want to come back. Believe Circle City, Indianapolis has retained 100% of its founding staff, so they've been there for the last 3 years and are going into them. And the reason for that is because we built a very, very strong student culture, where if you come into the building, I know many people in this room have, 100% of all students are actively working in their academics, right? If you come into my world history class, we have students from across the city who, when the middle school teachers come in and comment, like, oh, this student was throwing chairs across the room in 8th grade, but now he's actively reading your class. That is a very unique student culture to Believe, especially in a city like Indianapolis. But analogous to the student culture, we've also developed a very strong teacher, where teachers feel incredibly supported in their professional and personal growth. We invested a tremendous amount of money and resources and time, including our Fridays where we have professional development every week. We had a 3-week program at the start of the school year to bring students, teachers into the building, to have them learn about Leah's pedagogy and to learn how to support our EL students, to learn how to support our students with IEPs. We invest a lot of time, resources, and money into that, and which is also incredibly unique in the city. But alongside that too, I think the reason why I keep coming back year after year is also because Believe Circle City not only supports my professional growth, it's also invested in me heavily personally, right? And I have a very, very personal relationship with this Neil, this Manning, this Dee, and a lot of the administration of the school. And they deeply care about who I am as a person. And for that reason, I keep coming back. I'm like, yeah, I really enjoy coming to. Right? There's not really a day where I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to school, or I don't want to teach, because I heavily, heavily enjoyed my time at Believe, and I keep coming back here. So I think we've talked a lot about academics, and we've talked a lot about like what Believe can do for St. Louis. but I also think we built a very, very strong staff culture that is not really found anywhere across the country, and especially to the teachers that I talk to and different events that I go to, they're like, yeah, like, we don't want to do it in school, we want to leave at 2:30. And for me, it's like, no, I can stay a little bit longer, and I can stay however long I need to, because I enjoy working at it. So I just want to keep saying that again and again. So I think in closing, right, I think like that culture and that staff culture is unique to Believe and can easily be transferred to St. Louis. And it feels like, I'm very new to the city, this is my second time here, and it feels like St. Louis needs a lot of that as well, with student, teacher retention and, you know, making sure that staff are held accountable to their teaching, are held to high professional standards, and doing that day to day, year after year to support our kids, to make sure that we achieve that. So I fully advocate for Believe St. Louis. Thank you both.
Anyone else that wishes to speak? We have a few more, like 2 minutes.
Hello, my name is Kennedy Neal, and I'm a recent graduate of Xavier University of Louisiana. I was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. I went to Hazelwood schools growing up, and then for high school, I did go to a private school as well. I just want to say I was given the opportunity to teach summer school and Believe over the summer, so it was like my first big girl job out of college. And it was just really cool. Like, it was really cool seeing these students. It was very different coming from being a student into coming into a teacher role. And I had a lot of different students from like different reading levels and everything. And so our first week, they had to write personal narratives. And so I was teaching rising ninth graders. These were eighth graders. A lot of them were coming to Believe for next school year. A lot of them wrote about like, they had to write about an accomplishment. So I had one boy, he wrote about how he can't wait to come to Believe because he's heard so much about it. Like, he's really been playing basketball. He's turned his life around. He served jail time. And he was like, the community, the kids that I know that go here, like, I'm excited to go here. And I read like 3 students' papers who wrote about like they were excited they graduated 8th grade so they can go to Believe. And like the teachers and the staff, they were so supportive to me. They were like, you know, what do you need so you can help these kids? Like, it was all about the kids. And I just thought it was great teaching there. And I feel like St. Louis deserves a school like that as well, because like I said, I've grown up here and I've never visited a school like Believe. And I feel like students should be able to have the opportunity. Like, I didn't have it, and a lot of students here haven't had it, and they deserve it too.
That concludes our hour that we had set aside as a commission for a public hearing. At this time, we'll take a 10-minute break, and then our commissioners will interview the board of Believe St. Louis Academy. So you are welcome to stay if you'd like to listen in, or you may excuse yourself to cooler weather.
Tree of the Fox, so I believe in this school because when you hear how passionate they are about it, you know, Dawn approached me with what they're trying to accomplish. And, I mean, the way they talk about it, you just, how can you say no? Awesome. Hello, great to meet you. My name is Dr. Paris Wood. I too am a native of St. Louis, born and raised here, and then left for college and got to spend 20 years working in the field of education. I think largely sort of born of my experience growing up here in the city of St. Louis on the north side, and how challenging it was for my mother to find adequate educational opportunities for my sister and myself. So I participated in probably every single program you could imagine. We were bused out to the county. We attended Catholic school, got kicked out because we couldn't afford the tuition. I attended local, my neighborhood schools, which were subsequently shut down. And had the good fortune of graduating from Metro High School, which helped me get a full scholarship to Harvard University. Launched this education career to level the playing field for other folks like myself. So I'm especially excited to be back in my hometown, and bringing that 20 years of experience in education to my work now as an author and consultant in the financial empowerment space. One of the reasons I'm excited about Believe, is the financial and wealth component that is very intentionally a part of the model. Additionally, having spent time in multiple cities across the country, and most recently in New Orleans, which is a whole place all its own, I can tell you that this model is actually incredibly unique, and I would be thrilled to see it here in St. Louis.
You might be, can I?
No, I can hear you.
Okay. And I apologize for the sweating. I didn't get the thing about the black shirts, so I should have done this. And Kim said, well, you look so nice. Don't change into the black shirt. So I'm regretting taking her advice on that, but that's the reason why I'm the standout here.
You can take your jacket
Well,
off.
thank you. Appreciate that. So my name is Jesse Dixon. I currently work as a partner with the Opportunity Trust. But I was working on trying to get a model like this into St. Louis prior to working for the Opportunity Trust. So for 3 years, I've been working with some folks at St. Louis University, Paris Stowe, and a few other institutions about how can we get an early college model focused on healthcare into St. Louis, because it's working in other parts of the country and it's not here and it doesn't make sense. I became passionate about that issue, first having started my career in education. I used to work for the Massachusetts Department of Education, leading their turnaround work in the lowest performing schools. Moved here 13 years ago, and since then I've had a range of roles, from actually working with Martha at the SLU Charter School Sponsorship Office, did some work with UMSL's Charter School Sponsorship Office, did some work with SLPS, where I was a special assistant to the superintendent. And then I've been on a couple of charter boards. I was on the founding board of Vineland School, and was on the board of City Garden Montessori as well. But for the last 5 years prior to joining the Opportunity Trust, I've been working in workforce development, working with Head Start parents at first, trying to help them get accelerated credentials in high demand skilled careers, and was blown away at all the opportunities that were out there for industry recognized certifications to be game changers for economic mobility and to break the cycle of poverty. And when I got immersed in that work, and then I worked for Run for Women, which is a local workforce development organization here, I sort of fell in love with the opportunity of workforce development. And then when I got back to K-12, have been really just asking the question, why don't we do more of those great things that are happening in workforce development in the high school? And so that was where the journey started with how do we get an early college high school focused on health sciences, and then ultimately having Believe be the one to do it. So I'm just so thrilled, and I am a fan, not just because it's an early college high school focused on health sciences, that would be enough, but I too have visited the school in Indy, and they didn't cherry pick like students, like the 3 ones who loved it, because everything you heard is so real. The culture of that place is unlike anything I've experienced, and I've visited dozens and dozens of schools. And so that was the sort of the icing on the cake, knowing that not only the kids are going to get these credentials. I've never heard of kids graduating with associate's degrees junior year of high school, but I mean, it certainly isn't happening in St. Louis. So I'm just so excited about this model and thrilled to be able to be part of it.
Hi, my name is Tiara Jordan. Currently, I'm the CEO and founder of Activate STL. So I work with students in high school and families in the St. Louis area who want better outcomes in education. So advocacy first. Prior to that, for 17 years, I was a principal and a special education teacher in Chicago, Brooklyn, and Cleveland. And why I support Believe and believe in Believe so much. Ooh, that's all those words. I actually became a teacher at Kent School in Chicago. So she was my first principal. During my first year, she mentored me. I graduated in advisory from her school. I saw the power and the magic as a teacher, how I was developed. I saw the kids and their experience, and my advisees who 100% went to 4-year universities and are doing great now. And so over the course of my career, Kim has always been a mentor to me. And I think the thing that's the most special about her is she does the thing that everyone else thinks they can't do. So like everyone's like, no, that's impossible. That can't happen. And Kim's like, watch. And she does it from city to city, in all different aspects of education. And that's what we need. Innovation and a high bar of excellence. And that's what Kim brings.
Hi, my name is Haley Morgan. I'm a manager over government grants at TNTP. TNTP, we're a national nonprofit focused on social and economic mobility. I oversee our national education initiatives. But prior to my work at TNTP, I was a K through 12 special educator in St. Louis for 5 years, both at the school and district level administrator. So I say all that because I understand the educational landscape here. But nothing quite made me understand it so much until I became a parent. And I realized how important it is, and that is going to be the most important decision I make for my child. And I don't say this lightly, but like at the current state of where St. Louis is, like there's not a school in the city where I feel comfortable sending my kid, and that's not the way I want it to be. And I believe in the work that Believe is doing. I believe that my child should go to a school where 100% of teachers return. The high school that I went to, there are still teachers there. That was not the case at some of the schools I worked at here in St. Louis. And so when I became a parent, it like, even my beliefs in education, like became 1,000 times % more true. And like, I want for my child what every parent wants, and that's a good quality education. And it shouldn't have to be like, I'm searching for it, or because my mom knows what she's doing and knows how to look for the right school. Like every kid deserves that equitable opportunity.
Hello, my name is Jamila Boone. I am from St. Louis. I am from the city. I have known Kim probably as long as I've known myself. So we grew up together in the same neighborhood. Just speaking from her character, she has always been a leader. She has always been, you know, one of the smartest people that I've known. I definitely believe in her and the model of this program being career prep. I think that it's definitely something that the city needs. My background, I actually went to high school in St. Louis County because, you know, like other people have said, there were not many options for a great education in the city. So I had to spend, you know, 30 minutes being bussed out to a county school to get a good education. I did go to Florida A&M University for my bachelor's degree in business administration and came back home and got my MBA at Font Barn. Professionally, I have been pretty much a marketing and sales professional. I worked for Nestle as a territory manager. I also worked over 12 years for Nestle USA. And most recently, I worked as a territory manager for a non-for-profit called Impact Life. It's a local blood center, really focused on collecting blood products and services for all the SSM hospitals and Mercy hospitals in the area. I am also an entrepreneur. I own an event space in Midtown. It's called Scene Event Space. So I'm very invested in the culture of St. Louis, socially and educationally. And I'm very excited to be a part of this board and support this board.
Hi, my name is Casey Martin Johnson. I am currently the Director of Environmental Health and Safety for Curium Pharmaceuticals in Maryland Heights. Prior to that, I owned my own business where I was an industrial hygienist for KMJ Industrial Hygiene and Safety Professionals. And when I heard about Believe, I had to be here. I wanted to be a part of the board. I am a big advocate of STEM and science because it is the great equalizer. For me, science took me further than I thought I could ever be. My parents and family were educators, so they were like, go into education, but I fell in love with science. And I had a teacher who propelled me into going into chemistry, and then from there going to get my master's degree in toxicology and risk assessment. So I have 2 master's degrees. But what I have been at work today since 5:30 this morning, and I thought I was going to miss this because we had a shutdown at the site and I had to leave. And I said, hey guys, I'll be back after this. So after I leave here, I'm going back to work. However, I am such a proponent of Believe Academy because currently I closed my business and I started working for Curium because I have a new 16-year-old that I adopted from Atlanta. She was going to go into the foster care system, and then she is now living with me. And she had, her mother was murdered and her father is in prison. And she was, finished up her 9th grade year in Atlanta and had 0 credits. So she came to live here in St. Louis with me, and I could not find any school that would give her the opportunities that she needed, the culture and the support that she needed. Fortunately, I can afford a private school, but other people cannot. And I believe that students and parents and families in St. Louis deserve to have education that is equitable. They deserve to have empowerment. And I get teary because I see how my situation, I am fortunate enough, but there are kids in St. Louis that aren't as fortunate. And I believe in Believe Academy because they are not selective in their students. They say, come as you are, we're going to provide you with a path to the future. And having exposure is paramount to your future. And I'm just so thankful to be able to be here. I'm thankful that you guys are going to give Believe a chance because the students and the families in St. Louis need this.
Thank you. What an impressive board.
Yeah, I just wanted to name that we have another board member who won't be attending tonight. She had a death in her family, so we just wanted to acknowledge that she is not here for that reason.
Thank you. As I introduced myself earlier as the chair, to let you know a little bit about the commission, we're pleased that we received your application, that's for sure. We were established by state statute in 2012. And then the majority of the board, current board, was actually appointed in 2014 and confirmed then the following January, February by the Senate. Since then, we've added a couple of new people. I have served as one of the founding members along with Susan. And it was surprising in 7 years how many schools we now have with a little over 11,000 students, with our mission being quality education for all students. We truly believe that. We work with that every day. And we're pleased to see another wonderful school coming to us to consider an application. Let you know just a little bit about myself. I served 30 years on my district school board in a traditional setting. I was a business owner for 26 years in a printing company. And now I am a coordinator for our children's ministry at my church and serving as Nana to some of the best grandkids and great-grandkids that you ever meet. And next,
I wish you guys would be a little enthusiastic about the what a delightful first hour. My name's Susan Cole. I'm the only person sitting up here that lives in St. Louis, so I know a lot about what you're talking about. As Peggy said, I'm one of the original with the commission. We were all supposed to serve terms in about 2 or 3 years.
We're still here.
That hasn't happened. My background's all in education too. I was at the State Department of Education when charter schools were born in Missouri, and it was a difficult birth. Anybody that was around at that time knew there were a lot of opportunists that thought they were going to make money on some schools, and they were doing it all over the country. And some opened and some closed, and it was a difficult time to get folks organized. But we finally do have a commission in place. There's an association of charter schools that is a fine addition to the community here. Peggy's right, we're glad to have read your short.
I think the longest to date.
Win the prize. Win the prize. And you should feel free, as we ask you some questions, to ask us as well, because we don't want to be a mystery to you. We are who we are. We have wonderful colleagues. 2 of them were right there, but one's dropped off the face of the earth, I think. But we have one in Cape Girardeau who's listening, and we had one in Kansas City who was as well. Everyone has read your application. And do you know what goes on after this? You do, okay, good. Then,
Robin spoke to us, about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We meet on Wednesday, and I think you're about the only thing on our agenda.
and you can listen in.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So I'm Kathy Jo Loy, and I'm a mom of 5, and we live in Joplin, or we lived in Joplin, Missouri, a pretty poor part of the city, or the state, not the city. And like some of you talked about, I had the option of school choice for my children because economically we could afford that, but we had our son enrolled in the poorest school in Joplin because we were involved ministering to this school. And when I realized I had to get my son out of there because he wasn't receiving the education that he needed, they were doing the best they could. But he had 6 little friends who didn't have an option. And their parents, as I would drop these kids off at their hotel where they may be staying, it was right after the Joplin tornado, or, in these little ramshackle places. And I thought, what about those kids? They need something else. And I heard about a charter school that I could bring to my city. And then somebody told me charter schools weren't allowed. I said, yes, they are. And so I started this journey to get this charter school, and somehow met these ladies and met the commission. And I'm like, we need quality options for all students, no matter where you live in the state, whether it's St. Louis or Joplin, Missouri, where kids just need options of what's going to work for them. And so I love hearing your stories. I get a little teary when I hear some of the students, and just, I don't know how you're going to replicate Kimberly. You're going to need 20 of her, all over the state. But anyway, it was a pleasure hearing that all of you have that same passion, that every student, no matter where they live, deserve choice.
Can we hear Mary Jane? Can she tell about herself? Work that magic.
I'm gonna try. She can hear you, so she can unmute herself, but I don't think she has a mic. She's not on.
Well, a little bit about Mary Jane Amados. Moved here a few years ago from California, where she had served 20 years as a charter board member and also an educator. So we are happy to have her representing Cape Girardeau so we're all spread out around the congressional districts. So at this time, any of you have a first question or opinion? Go right ahead. Have you elected officers? Who are you?
I'm the chair.
Okay. And I'm the vice chair. Okay. Treasurer, secretary?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you plan to increase your board, or is this going to be your steady founding board?
We do have some space for parent representation as well as a financial expert.
All that.
So,
Yeah.
star, there you go.
That parent input is so critical. So critical. Good. I guess my first question is, in this day and time, how are you going to attract high quality staff? Your plans?
Well, currently, we're looking at the model that Indy is using, how they get teachers who are just coming out of college and retain them. And it's a small school where we also we're trying to follow their model where it's 12 students to 1 teacher. So having that small network of students and teachers, we want to model it the same way and retain the teachers.
I think there's a couple other things. So I spoke about having time when I came to school, and a lot of things, and why some educators are leaving the space is a lack of autonomy and creativity. And she really does provide that. Like, she's open to try different things because we get students at all different levels. So you have to get really creative. And so I think that's something that'll be a big draw to educators looking to come into the field. I think another big draw is in Indianapolis, they spearheaded mental health services for teachers during the school day. So an outside provider that was not connected with the school was there for teachers, and we know mental health and being in schools right now is such a priority. So I think when you have a leader or a school system that thinks outside of the box and is willing to do the things that teachers are asking for, at least pilot, try, make a way, teachers are attracted.
How many of you have gone to Indy to observe their building? We're excited. We're going in September. And we've invited state board members, Department of Education people that will be journeying with us. So we're planning to spend some time with Believe, but also with, I believe, 3 other schools that charters that would be looking forward to that. Question?
Can you talk a little bit about discipline? We've seen your policy. How do you feel about what we have on paper versus what walks in the door? Anybody?
When you say what walks in the door versus what's on paper, like if they're gonna be able to meet that criteria?
I'm just saying that you have a lot of, strategies listed.
Yeah.
But then when you get that kid through the door that doesn't respond to any of those, how do you feel about the problem of discipline, from the very beginning?
Yeah, so I think that's the beauty of Believe, or how Kim has kind of set the mindset. The school transforms to the kid. So a lot of times you have schools and you want kids to fit into that versus like the community and the children that come in make the model. So there's always adjustments being made based on the needs of the students. And I think a lot of times it's just about making sure that child can find the right person. You know, you're not gonna be everybody's person, whether you're the principal or whatever teacher. So I think when you build a community where everyone is pouring love into students, they're bound to find their person that can help them navigate that space. I've taught under him for 4 years at Noble in Chicago, if you've heard of that, one of the strictest, used to have policies, and we were able to find a way to do it with love and not out of, power or just like follow this rule, where we were really teaching kids life skills. So it's really just about a conversation, explaining the why and having the patience for students to get there.
I would just add, I've been a part of a new charter school from founding here in St. Louis that ran into the exact problem I think you're sort of getting at, which is you start a new school, you have all these big, great ideas, and then you hit reality. And I can tell you at the school that I was on the founding board of a bunch of years ago, what ended up happening by week 5 could not have been any different than what was written on that piece of paper 2 years earlier. And so I think that's real. What obviously makes this very different is it's happening somewhere else. It's the same team that's starting it. That's the other thing I think on the talent issue is it's not just Kim and John who are moving back, but they're bringing with them 1 or 2 of the founding indie team, teaching team, or an administrative team to be part of the launch. And so they can get those systems in place. I would probably have a hard time believing everything in the application about how the behavioral policy works, if I hadn't seen it myself. And it is real. This village model, I'll just say, is not just working for Believe, but there are schools around the country that are asking for it. Are visiting Believe, are seeing the student academic results, the buy-in that I think you heard and felt today, and are saying, how do we replicate that? Because we know the sort of no excuses, discipline isn't working for all kids. And this seems to be an alternative. How can we do it? And so I have full confidence that what you've read can actually happen because it is somewhere else. And it is not a selective school in Indy. It is a wide variety of students with a wide variety of needs. And what gives me extra confidence is they launched in COVID. They launched in fall 20. And that was not easy.
I think also, if we think about sort of the root cause of discipline issues, what's going on with the student, the way that the village system is set up, I think is uniquely equipped to meet students where they are. So to have this trusting adult that you're meeting with regularly, who's helping you set ambitious goals and for which we have really strong tracking systems. I love the Level Up system in particular because it mirrors the real world. Young people understand what's happening in the real world. Can we give them an opportunity to experience that? So from moving to being a believer in training to a senior executive who has earned these additional sort of opportunities and access and privileges, that's a part of the discipline, right? And it's the same one that mirrors what happens once we get out of the school environment that makes it more realistic. And I think there's more buy-in from students as a result.
Well, I like the way that these students talked about, they're thinking about tomorrow. We all know that teenagers think about today and what they instant gratification. So in thinking about that tomorrow and pushing them to think long-term. I hear a lot of the students are not graduating, but getting their associates by their junior year. So we have all these young kids that now think they can rule the world and they're really not mature enough maybe they still need to be in high school. You know, we don't want to graduate them at 10. How do you keep them engaged? And they're like, hey, I've got my associate's degree. I don't need to come back to school tomorrow. I mean, how is the model going to work to keep them? They still have some maturing to do.
So the village model, which I sort of.
I like the village model.
I mean, I love the purpose plan because that is what is helping students hone in on what the long-term aspiration is. So, you know, college isn't the goal, right? And as someone, my 20 years of education that has been in college access and career access. And so I can tell you sort of how to dance beyond the college as the goal model, because college is sort of a stepping stone to a life, a career. What are you aspiring to? And helping students get into that mindset early on, as early as 9th grade when they set these plans. So students know the associate's degree actually isn't the destination, it's the larger goal that I've set, and they have this adult who's checking in with them regularly about that long-term trajectory. And then I'm especially excited about the career exposure pieces, right? So it's one thing to earn a degree, we all know that. It's another thing to actually walk onto a job site and see what it's like to be in that profession. And so students are getting that exposure during their Freedom Friday, where they actually are seeing what it's like to be a professional and getting to reflect on what are the additional skills that they need to learn in order to access the careers that they aspire to.
Can I follow up on that for just 1 second? Yes. So the village aspect, are the parents being educated along the way? Because sometimes the parents, this is going to be foreign to them. So are they being encouraged to buy into this?
Yes, so they're included in the village.
Okay.
And in terms of sort of being able to track students' progress, they have access to that as well.
Well, she mentioned Freedom Fridays, and I was wondering, will the children or students, scholars, be transporting themselves, or will you have a way, if they're doing something off campus for their career, how will they get transportation? Oh, okay. I did have a concern there. What types of student recruitment campaigns do you have? You began, are you waiting for that initial? Comes on Wednesday. But what are your plans for recruitment?
Yes, I can start. One of the plans has been just being out in the community and letting them know that potentially new school is coming to the area. So there's been a lot of festivals or, different events out in the community where there's a high population of parents or even high school students or middle school students, where we're just kind of saying, like, think about this and like, look at the awesome things the school has to offer, and things like the summer programming, right? They did 2 different pilots this summer with kids from middle schools who are now just like super excited. And then that word of mouth kind of spreads. So a lot of getting out in the community and just floating the idea and seeing how people are responding.
And we are currently on all social medias.
Yeah.
Two things I would add. So you saw in the application, we have letters of support from several charter middle schools. And they are really excited about this. There is a lot of alignment with the village model and this sort of different approach to behavior and culture building. And some of the schools that signed on, like Momentum and City Garden Montessori. So they're excited, and those feeder patterns are prominent. And the other thing that, we spend a lot of time thinking about what's the best place to locate the school, because we want to make sure we attract the kids. And one of the things we've learned from innovative models, several of which you all are sponsoring now, is the parents and the kids are showing up. If it really is distinct and they're able to get their name out there through the kind of marketing they're finding. I mean, Atlas's teacher recruitment, Atlas's enrollment, Kairos is their high school's been building year upon year. We have a lot of confidence that once word gets out, that recruitment will fall into place. But we do plan on relying on those feeder patterns as a key primary revenue.
How many students did you serve in the summer program?
I think there was about 15 in each. Yep, that's good. How long was that? They ran for, one was 3 days and one was 2 days.
Peggy was excited, and said we're gonna get a parent, and we all agree that that's necessary, but I'm excited that you said that we're gonna look for a financial expert. This is tough business running the school, as you all know, and you can't get anybody too qualified, so we highly applaud the fact that that's on your to-do list, and I hope it's accomplished.
We have two candidates that are very close. We hope to get them locked in before today, but.
Good luck.
Well, yeah, good for you. That aside, teachers dropping out of the profession right and left, hard to find them. When you find them, hard to keep them. What do you plan to do to make sure you, first of all, get the right ones, and second, that they're able to stay?
So I know that Kim's approach is a developmental one. So how do we find folks who are excited to work with the young people that we serve, and how do we develop them? So if we think about creating a village around the young people, the village is also around the staff as well, as we heard from some of the folks who spoke. And I think that that is a result of the culture that's built in the school. They, as someone, so part of my experience, I got to work for a charter school that went from an F to just a few points short of an A, which you cannot do alone. There's no silver bullet there, right? So every person in that building has to be aligned and bought into the mission. And that is a reflection of culture. So I think being able to build a really strong culture where folks actually enjoy coming to work every day, that's an intentional choice. It doesn't happen by accident. And I think the developmental pieces that are in place so that teachers actually feel as if the school cares about me, I'm growing in my profession, I'm becoming better every day, and I'm able to see the result of my work through these student outcomes is incredibly powerful.
I also know that there will be a lot of recruitment from college students who are coming right out of college, you know, into teachers, into the teaching profession, just because they are usually, like she said, excited, easy to come into a school culture that is established. And I think that's a great approach as well.
One thing that was exciting for me to hear was what Believe Circle City is doing in Indy for the teachers. As a teacher myself, like, people always used to say, well, you have summers off, you should have so much time, but like September through May, I'm pretty busy. So like finding time for teachers to be humans. I was talking to John and she mentioned like, we have space on one Friday a month where like teachers get out early to just like go get an oil change or like go to the dentist. And if like you are intentional about building those things into the calendar, that really matters. Making sure that teachers' time feels valued and that they feel heard. I think like that would have kept me in the teaching profession much longer had I like felt like I had more autonomy of my life throughout the school year too.
Thank you. Along that line with the teacher retention, which 100%, I'm so like, I gasp because it's like, wow, but, one of the things I've heard from a lot of you and some of the people that share, you love St. Louis. This is where your home was, even if you moved away. This is home for you. So will you put a little bit of emphasis on finding teachers that this is their home? I mean, I know there's other states that have good teachers too, but I mean, there has to be something that you go, this is my home, this is my state, this is my city. So is that gonna be your kind of first place to, you know, grab some teachers from down from?
We've got sort of local partnerships with the universities. We think about folks who are coming through as we share one source, but also interested in how do we create a teaching force that is reflective of the student body, which as we know is incredibly powerful as well. So that is additionally a priority.
The other thing I just quickly add on that is, one of the things that I found really remarkable about Believe, visiting the school in Circle City, as you know, in a couple of months, is how, because of the intensive professional development that gentleman behind you talked about a lot about, the three-work summer, the intensive around the Fridays, the model is really built around excellence through teachers who are new to the profession. And that's something that I really picked up on as how do you get, I mean, because at Mushin Prep, right, which was the Noble school that Kim and others, I mean, those results were, we talked about them in Massachusetts when I was working there, like they were like unlike anything we'd ever seen. And they did it with new teachers. And that was something that surprised everyone around the country. And so that's a track record that I think Kim has brought into Believe Circle City and will bring here is what often you're looking for that 5th or 6th year, just expert teacher to come into the new school to drive it home. And there's something about the aspirations of the new teacher, the open-mindedness. There's something about that chemistry that Believe has really found enormous success with in Circle City, which is why they have the 100%. And I think to your point, it has to be local. So I think it is those relationships with Webster and Lindenwood and SLU and Harris Stowe that are gonna make it happen. And also, as you know, you don't need that many in the first year, right? Especially if you're and so you get that right, then you need a few more in the next year. So they've really got a strong recipe. And of course, they'll have to be tailored to St. Louis. But I think they've got their eyes wide open on that.
You have a high goal of 93% ADA. Are you going to offer students incentives for attendance, or how do you hope to maintain that high attendance rate?
That's the culture piece. I mean, the culture piece is so strong. The level up system is unique. It's not something that I've seen elsewhere. We've experienced it as professionals, right? So how to sort of give young people access to things they want and things that they feel as if they've earned, so they feel a part of the community. And the village aspect, I think, is a big part of this as well, right? So who's your person? We know this from high school. We know this from K-12 all the way through college, that we're successful when you have that adult who knows your name, who knows your story, who cares about you, and that is built into the model. So we have folks who want to come to school because they're doing things they like, they see the results, and they have people that care about that. I think that's really powerful.
I think also, when the kids first start, 8th going into their 9th grade year, they have these meetings called Purpose Pathways, and that's where they talk to the student and see who holds you accountable at home. Is it your mom? Okay, if it's not your mom, is it your dad? Okay, if it's not your dad, is it a godmother, or is it an aunt, or is it an uncle? Okay, that's the person who holds you accountable. We'll have that person be a part of the culture and the family at the school, because that person holds you accountable. That's the person that's gonna make sure you get to school every day. That's the person in your life that is a part of your success. So I think that strategy also helps.
Who's the person that's going to make sure that all of you understand what you do with data and understand how important that is?
Yeah, so I, as the chair, certainly have a lot of experience on prior boards and in education, and so I think it's natural for me to step into that role. I also have spoken with Kimberly about access to data that we'll receive. Certainly both academics and culture are big areas where there's a lot of data for us to review, and so we'll receive monthly dashboard updates. So the board is always on track. And then we have a system that we use, Board on Track, which helps us sort of both correlate the data, the meeting agenda, making sure we're following, sunshine laws and things like that. So I love having technology assist us as well, and so we're planning to use that system too.
Great, all great. It can steamroll you if you don't have it organized in the way that those that are, people that love data can take up your whole board meeting talking to you about it. And those that don't really have a little trouble getting it all interpreted. It's important that everybody understands certainly how important it is to the school. But you need somebody, and it must be you, that gets it. And then in turn is able to turn around and interpret it for others. It's always something I needed, never was really good at. So that's great. And along that line, I mean, we know what you said in your applications, but realistically, in the beginning, What's your expectation for performance?
Student performance. Yes, okay. So for student performance, I think the biggest thing about Believe is that we meet kids where they are. A lot of times when kids come and you just continue with the regular curriculum, they fall behind or fall to the side. So there's already remediation blocks that are built into the flexible schedule, knowing that kids are gonna come at different levels. And so I think they were a little, for some of the goals, I set really high ambitions for them. So I think they went a little lower than what I was used to, but I think they were trying to be comparative to this region. But I wouldn't be surprised if they surpassed it. That's just what they do. But, I think they were trying to be considerate to that. But I think when you really meet children where they are, give them individually what they need, and then bring them up so everyone feels successful, you meet the marks.
We pushed, I mean, we really spent a lot of time with it as a board during the application process to not, like I mentioned, I was on the advisory committee for, like what Ian was talking about, for the commission 7 or 8 years ago. And how often the goals are in the charter application and then they come and there generally is this. And so we had a lot of conversation about, we don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. And I think what we've seen in Indy is over-delivering. And so we tried to strike this balance between wanting to put in paper, codifying the high expectations that this team is bringing in, this board, for what kids can accomplish with what we have seen done locally. And while the goals may seem high, there was a lot of discussion, and this really felt like the right mix between rigorous and realistic.
Thank you.
I think the reality is that we know that it is going to be tough. We know that St. Louis is a tough place with tough kids, and I think that is the reality that everybody understands. I was just talking to her a little while ago just about when my child was 3. I have a 6-year-old, but you really set the bar to what you want a child to achieve, and surprisingly, they will reach it or, surpass it. So I think that, just talking about the culture of the school, or even listening to the child that came up and spoke, that said she's excited to go to school every day. I mean, that immediately speaks to the attendance. So, if you have a child who's excited to go to school, who the culture of the school is good, they're meeting expectations, you kind of, you're able to reach those goals that are set.
My question for answered, so I have written down, so. What ways are you going to hear parent voices? You did say you'd like to see someone from the parents. Maybe that actually have a seat on your board, but what other ways would you reach to engage them?
So one of the goals you probably saw in the charter was the survey.
Yeah.
That parents are given, and they're striving for over 90% satisfaction with the school. There'll also be partnerships. So Believe, you probably also maybe saw in the charter, from an advocacy standpoint, the students are equal, right? So I think when you involve students in advocacy in high school, parents are watching them, and that kind of brings them into the fold as well. But I think parents are asked, along the way, right? There's not a lot of decisions made without speaking with students and with parents, because we're servicing them. And so we have to make sure the things that we're putting in place and the things that we're executing fits what they want, and what they would like to see for their experience.
And have you found a building yet? I know you listed 3 or 4, but.
Yeah, so we're in current lease negotiations with this lovely building that we're in, which have to meet all their criteria, so hopefully, it's just financially advantageous for both sides, so.
I heard some comments about that as you were presenting in the beginning, and I was like, okay, it was just a chance to look around.
Its current state would work for a year 1 and maybe a year 2. There's not enough classrooms here for a year 3 or 4.
Right.
So a question around this space is, is the long term and whether this would just be like, what Atlas did with
Yeah.
the first space and then you go to the second space, or if this space, so there are actually talks with their construction folks at St. Louis Community College to figure out what it would look like for this to be a long-term home and to have some of those considerations be part of the negotiations. And there are also two other spaces that we've entered into some serious discussion about in the event that this doesn't work out.
Well, in year 3 and 4, you would have juniors and seniors driving. I would assume this would not be enough parking space for faculty, staff, and then students too.
There's also not athletic facilities.
Right.
I mean, St. Louis Community College really is interested in making this work, not just out of the goodness of their heart is a huge part of it. It's just an incredibly committed team. But I mean, monetarily, these schools like this are huge for community colleges. Ivy Tech, and you'll see this when you visit in Indianapolis, it's currently, they're not even fully enrolled yet. Their seniors aren't even right there yet. They get $250,000 a year from Believe Circle City in just dual credit expenses. So they see this as also a business decision that keeping it here, they've offered their athletic facilities potentially at the Forest Park campus. So there's some real interest in trying to make it work. We, of course, need to take a belt and suspenders approach. It'd be great to have this, and we need to have some other options in the event this is well.
It would be a great model. And in the presentation, I understood these dual credits would be reimbursed, it'd be free to students, is that correct? What an incentive. Wonderful.
If y'all have your fingers in St. Louis and on the pulse, do you feel the community feels a need for a new high school?
Yes. I would say, like I said, with my situation where I have a 9th grader who's going to the 10th grade, there was no school that would have the opportunity and the culture that she would need. So St. Louis definitely needs this. Currently, I would say we have an issue in St. Louis where it's a pathway to prison. And this is a pathway to success. This is a pathway to a career. This is a pathway to future. And like some of the young kids were talking, they were saying that I wish I had this option here in St. Louis. I had to go to, I'm sorry, I don't know, the school, a private school to be able to have this success and to be exposed, the exposure to going to getting your dual degree. A lot of kids who look like me had never heard of that, never saw that as an opportunity to get AP classes or anything like that. You see that on TV or you hear about it from someone who's Caucasian and says, oh, I'm in an AP class, or I got my dual degree and it's unattainable. The ceiling is here, but now just believe the ceiling is shot. It's broken. You can't succeed. And I love this. I wish my new goddaughter could attend. However, she can't, but I want to make sure that kids in St. Louis City have this opportunity.
And it's so much more than a high school. I mean, having the opportunity to graduate with your associates before, during your junior year, when a lot of other high schools, you can't start AP classes until you're in your second half. And, you get a couple classes that would count for college if you attend, but just having the opportunity, it should.
Those don't be, I didn't see in your plans, do you have any form of virtual programming? I mean, if we should, God forbid, have another epidemic, how would you reach those children?
Believe started in COVID. So they started in COVID in Indianapolis. So they already have the model set in place.
Okay.
So we will be able to do Chromebooks. We'll be able to use computers for our students because they already have the model set in place.
It sounds like the village model would really, tie into that as you do connect.
And I'd like all your mental health and special ed, health counseling therapy that might be needed to be able to reach those students that, have a dream that they can really have the option to fulfill with a school such as you. Questions for us? We'll try to answer.
I'm curious, I'm thinking sort of the vantage point that you bring, if there's anything we might consider adding. Or changing.
To your application.
I am thorough. I actually spent 5 hours reading your application.
Hi, our administrator's assistant back there said, I'm sending the link to this, you guys, and you need to look at it because it's gonna take you a while to read it. And she wasn't kidding.
I think you're thorough, and I think you have such a model from Chicago and Indy both with knowing leadership and the trickle-down theory is so important. I think you realize that as a board. You've got to have that one person with the energy, the leadership skills to build this program the way it needs to be established. Replication's good, but city to city can be different. And I think your eyes are wide open for that.
And you all know that eyes are watching St. Louis and their charter schools, so stay out of the news. That's good, yeah. But I appreciate the fact that every one of you could answer questions, Dave. It wasn't just, one of you answering the questions. You all get the school's vision and mission, and that's big to me.
Questions?
Yes.
I have, one is for, Susan Cole, Dr. Cole, Ms. Cole. You've seen a lot of big ideas, great ideas on paper that have hit the reality of the St. Louis education. And a lot of the questions have alluded to it, like talent recruitment in places like Chicago and DC isn't the same as talent recruitment is here in St. Louis. Population is declining in St. Louis. It's not, and I'm obviously the question is for all of you, but as someone who's based here in St. Louis, what do you see as sort of some things that the board ought to be paying special attention to as we take this model that we're so excited about having worked in Indianapolis, applying it to St. Louis? What are some things you would sort of want your eyes extra wide open on if you were the board to make sure we're focusing on things that are unique to here?
I think the reality of still, after all these years, misconception about what a charter school is, about where their funding comes from, for heaven's sake. Just like the school down the street, same funding. If you preach the truth as often as you can, because the misconception just compounds itself, and it's worse in St. Louis than it is in Kansas City. We have schools on both sides of the state, so we have different culture kinds of things to deal with. And we still, at the beginning, when this all happened, I was so amazed that Kansas City philanthropy took hold and helped charters get started. And in St. Louis, not so much. Where were they? Why were they not? I never did understand why this side of the state was so terribly slow to buy into the concept, and still doesn't get it. I mean, if you were reading the Post lately in the last 3 weeks, the misconception of how charters are funded and who is paying for what is just astronomical. And so, we have to deal with that. I think you need to preach the gospel all the time because we do. And we're all believers in public education. We're all believers that not every school is fit for every kid, not even this one. As good as you're gonna make it, it may not be right for every child. We started one in Kansas City that was all starry-eyed, and we were new as a commission, and we sponsored them, and we were so excited. And they had all of this neighborhood, it was little bitty kids, and boy, did it get hard in a hurry. They just couldn't take their breath fast enough. So you're so organized, you have a wonderful application, you have a model in place, which we can't wait. And, you've got so many things going for you, but create your own personality. You're not Indianapolis. You are St. Louis, and you have problems that are big, big. Does that answer your question?
I would say advocate for yourself. That social media, play it, show those successes, show what those classrooms look like. Let the kids speak, let the parents speak why they've chosen you, but advocate in Jeff City. That's right. I mean, we're there a lot. Kathy almost lives up there.
If you don't know your legislator,
Get to know them.
tomorrow, introduce yourselves. Invite them.
Yeah, definitely. When you do that open house, invite that governor, invite your legislators, your senators, you know,
All they can say is no.
you know. Because they need to see what's happening here and what the options are gonna be for your students here in St.
Show
We applaud you.
Yes, yeah.
And like, when 9 o'clock on Wednesday morning, we'll be tuning in.
Okay.
We'll be discussing and voting.
Yeah, and we'll be, not all in the same room, but we'll be.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
Oh, we're getting to be experts at that.
We are.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. And thank you for the t-shirt.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What?